This is in the interest of Arias, minor children, non-custodial party being Rafael, Arias Charles, custodial party being Michelle Schwart.
I'm asking for a final order today. There's going to be some bad facts that come out, not as bad as some of the facts the court has heard earlier today, but I think at the end of the day, this one is not all that complicated. I'm asking the court to confirm the arrearage. I don't believe that possession credits are in order here, but I'll have a calculation if the court decides that they are. And I believe dad is objecting to guideline child support because 2 children, the oldest is living with dad. I don't don't believe that mom has voluntarily relinquished anything. So I don't believe that possession credits going back or going forward are going to be appropriate, but I asked the court to hear the evidence and make a ruling, and I'll have calculations depending on what the court decides.
All right then, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sounds like another complicated one, but that's what I get paid for. So, sorry, So I'm going to go ahead and ask both Mr. Arias hyphen Charles and Ms. Schwart. I guess I may be mispronouncing that, ma'am, but you can tell the court what that is in a moment. But I need both of you to turn on your videos and raise your right hands, please. All right. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
All right. You're both officially earned the oath, and I'll allow the state to call you both as witnesses, and let's find out what's going on here for the background. Sorry. You may call your first witness then, Mr. Diamond. Thank you.
So Lupe Salinas, will you state your full name, please?
Guadalupe Salinas.
And Your Honor, she's previously gone on the record, I believe qualified herself. If I need to put that on this record, I can.
All right, the court will know for the record that Ms. Salinas has already been sworn in and qualified as a person that can give testimony to what she's doing here in prior cases, and the court will take judicial notice of that, and the state may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Were you able to do a wage calculation in this case, Ms. Salinas?
For Mr. Arias, yes, sir.
Okay,
Wages.
and yes, please.
Wages are $3,998.89.
So I'm sorry, that's with
That's gross.
yes, ma'am, yes. And then so what's the guideline child support amount with 2 children?
With 2 children, $656.79.
Okay, and what's the guideline child support for 1 child?
$574.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and allow the, I'm going to allow each party the opportunity to get ask testimony, ask questions of the witness, and I'll start with you, ma'am. And ma'am, how you pronounce your last name?
Swart, S-W-A-R-T. It's
okay,
Swart.
I pronounced it correctly then. Ms. Swart, do you have any questions of CSO Salinas?
No.
All right, Mr. Arias Charles, any questions of CSO Salinas?
No.
All right, may the CSO be excused, Mr. Diamond?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you're free to go, and I'll allow the state to call the next witness, please.
Michelle Schwart, call Michelle Schwart. Ma'am, will you state your full name, please?
Michelle Yvette Swart.
And who are the children the subject of this suit?
Xavier and Arias and Nylisa Arias.
Okay. Do you carry the health coverage for them?
Yes.
And what do you do for health coverage?
Medicaid.
Okay. Do the children both live with you?
No, not just my daughter does at the time, Nylisa.
Okay. When did your son stop living with you?
It was like January of 22.
Okay. And was that by your choice?
No.
Okay. Tell the court.
All right, real quick, Mr. Diamond, the court is taking judicial notice of the court file, and I'll note that there was a writ of attachment that was ordered by the district court for the return of the children to Ms. Schwartz back in 2022. So that was done by the Prater and Ridley firm. So I'll take judicial notice of that. Yeah, but I'll let you proceed with the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. But your son is, so is it, despite despite several rulings from the court, your son still ended up over at his father's house. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And how did that come to be?
because what happened was he took the kids and then he wouldn't give them back. I called the police. The police said that it was a civil matter, even though it was not his day and the kids were supposed to be in my possession. They ordered me to get a lawyer. They said there was nothing they can do.
Okay, so this was
he
so I'm
kept
sorry.
them for a month.
All right. So January 2022, you called the police several times. They refused to get involved. Is that correct?
Yeah. He took the kids from school, basically kidnapped them. And when I went to go pick them up, he would not give me the kids back. He said they didn't want to go with me. So I called the police. I had a court order showing my child support saying this is not his day, that they belong in my possession. We just have like joint custody. And KPD at that time said that there was nothing they can do about it. It's a civil matter that I need to get a lawyer.
Okay. So you got a lawyer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the judge just mentioned the writ of attachment. So they got a writ of attachment issued. Is that correct?
Yes. I paid the lawyer. We went there. He was ordered to give the kids back. He didn't return the kids. So they did a habeas corpus and that he moved away and didn't tell me. So I didn't know where he lived. So they sent the constables out there to pick the kids up because he didn't abide by what the judge said and return them like he was supposed to.
Okay. But your son is still over at dad's house. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, he was. When he got brought back that same night, he ran away, and it was the kid's lawyer, Miss Brittany Darby, that informed me that they didn't want to do this back and forth thing if he's going to keep running away, that it would be in his best interest at the time to stay with his dad until everything got done with the court.
All right. So did you ever? So at some point in time, did you?
I didn't agree to that. They just said it was the best interest.
Okay.
Yes.
Have there been issues between your son and your? Is it Mr. Florence is your current boyfriend or your former boyfriend?
Yes. Current.
Okay. Have there been issues between your son and Mr. Florence, your current boyfriend?
Just one incident. That was it.
Okay. So what happened? When was this incident?
Back in January.
Of this year or last year?
December, around December or January
of 2022.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happened?
My son had been getting in trouble. I caught him smoking weed the day before and he was making failing grades. So I took his Xbox away from him. We gave the Xbox to his dad's, but my boyfriend, Brian, let him borrow his Xbox during Christmas vacation. Well, like I said, the night before, son smoking weed. And then while I was at work, Brian asked him to do housework. He got an attitude and didn't want to do it. So when I got home, my son, Brian, took the Xbox away and he said, I gave you this as a privilege. You're being disrespectful to your mom. You're not listening, doing your housework, and you're getting an attitude. He's like, so I'm going to take my Xbox back. My son got mad and he threw a fit like most kids about electronics, kept asking it. And I said, no, go to your room. So then at that time, he got violent and aggressive and started cussing us out, telling Brian, you're not my dad. And cussing at me and saying vulgar stuff. He lifted up his hands like he was about to hit me. And I told him to go to his room. So I told Brian to get him. So Brian took him to his room. And then next thing I know, I took Brian home and my oldest daughter picked up my son. And then it was like 2 days later, my ex said he was pressing charges that my son had scratches on his neck.
All right. So here's the key of it. There was a protective order issued against your boyfriend. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And when did the protective order expire?
It was for 90 days, for 3 months, and they didn't extend it. They didn't see anything wrong or nothing like that.
Your Honor, I know my procedure is sloppy, but I'd like to offer states too at this time. I can do it properly if the court wants, but I'd offer states too.
All right, folks, this is State's Exhibit number 2. It is looks like a magistrate protective order. Is there any legal reason this should not come into evidence at this time, Ms. Schwart?
No, you can use it.
All right, Mr. Arias, Charles, any objection?
No, sir.
All right, State's 2 is admitted. You may proceed, Mr. Diamond.
Okay, so during the 90 days, did your boyfriend, did he comply with the terms of that protective order?
Yes, he had his own apartment at the time. It wasn't until after the 90 days lifted that he moved in with me.
Okay, so this wasn't a situation where you were choosing your boyfriend over your son?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, be back to you in a moment, ma'am. Call your next witness, please, Mr. Diamond.
Okay, Rafael Arias Charles.
Yes, sir.
Will you state your full name, sir?
Rafael Eduardo Arias Charles.
Okay. Were you able to hear the statement that I gave the court?
Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing probably some things that you disagree with there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's hear your side of it. How did your son come to live with you?
Yeah, well, when she was talking about the weed part, Brian provided the weed for him. He was selling weed at the time. My daughter brought weed to my apartment from her house. And
No.
I forgot where I was going with this. And yeah, and then he can't, and you know, that happened. And then he can't,
So
like you said.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I don't think
Go ahead.
the weeds. I doubt the weed's gonna move the needle. Obviously the court will correct me if I'm wrong, but she said you kidnapped your kids from school. So is it true or untrue?
That's untrue.
Okay,
Like
so what happened?
her oldest daughter, Leilani, brought my son to me at my job and told me, you know, what
Okay,
happened.
Stop. So here's the deal, sir. You can't testify to something a third party has said. You can testify to what they did, but you can't testify to anything they said. You can testify to anything that mom says, but that's it, okay?
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I know you're not a lawyer, so, but that's everything else is considered hearsay, so you may proceed.
My son was brought to me, and he's been with me since that day, January 5th. And
Okay,
I
sir,
told him,
real quick, sir, do you have a legal custody order giving you custody of this child?
no, I do not. It's just an ongoing felony charges against Brian. Brian did this to
Okay,
my
here's the
son.
deal,
So
sir. Here's the deal. What I got before me is a child support modification case.
right.
Right now, the state's asking me to modify child support based on the fact that mom has legal custody of those two children, and you're legally obligated to support them, sir. And that's why I'm asking whether or not you got any type of custody order, temporary or otherwise. Otherwise, the only thing I can legally do is deal with the child support issue, and that's the only thing that's pled for in this case. And based on the prior court order, the children are legally in the custody of the mother.
It's just ongoing felony charges on Brian.
Man, sir, Mr. Bryant, his name is nowhere on the paperwork in this case, sir. He's not a party to this case. Only you and the mother are and the children.
So
Mr. Arias Charles, you need to get a lawyer, sir. You should have gotten one a long time ago, but you really need to get your own lawyer on this and figure out what you want to try to do, because right now mom's got custody, you don't.
yeah, but we agreed everybody agreed for my son to be here. CPS, did Michelle Schwart agreed for him to be here?
Here's the deal, Mr. Arias Charles, unless
Yes, sir.
The district judge of Corio County, Trent, granted that, said it was okay, or I said by court order, either one of us said by court order, it was okay, it's not. CPS it doesn't supersede a court order. Police departments don't supersede a court order. Only the district judge or myself can grant a change of custody. And I don't see one in this court file, sir. And believe me, I've looked.
Yeah, and also, you know, my son, he cannot live with his abuser anyway. So I don't.
Okay,
I don't
sir,
know.
the only thing I tell you, get a lawyer and get a court order, sir. There's no shortcut on that. You've got to get your own court order, sir. Because right now, mom has legal custody, and there's not a motion to modify anywhere in this court file asking a change of custody to you, sir.
Well, when he has to be in court in December and he gonna get felony charges against my son, he's not allowed to. I don't know, man.
Your Honor, may I ask maybe one or two more questions of Mr. Arias Charles?
Go right ahead.
So, Mr. Arias Charles, here's really what I'm asking, right? Mom says that she's not agreed for you to have your son. So, has she said anything to you indicating that she did agree for you to have your son?
Yeah, yes, she did say I could keep my son.
When did she say that?
when all this happened and back in February, I don't remember the exact date, back in 2022. February, March.
And so, did she ever say anything after that saying I changed my mind or I take it back, or, you know?
No, she did not. Everything's been going great. I mean, his grade's been going up. He's been happy. He hasn't been getting abused. I mean, he's been doing good. So she hasn't been seeing him, talking to him or anything. So the little bit that she talks to him, he gets upset and tells me, and I have to call her to tell him to stop messaging him. So I don't know. If I have to keep paying child support, I'll keep it. I'm keeping my son. My son is way better off here. He's doing better. He got him. He's on a roll. He's happy. He's good. So
Stop.
Yeah.
Slow down. Calm down. Here's the deal, sir. I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just telling you what the law is on these circumstances.
yes,
And
sir.
that's why I say, people who act as their own lawyer, I'm a board certified family lawyer, and I wouldn't represent myself in a family law case. I'd hire somebody because, I've represented other lawyers in their cases because it gets emotional. But the bottom line is, when you had CPS involved, they could have done something, sir. They could have gotten you into court and got this done.
CPS came. I'm sorry.
But they didn't. It used to be the 52nd Judicial District Court was the court of continuing jurisdiction. Now it's the Bell County Court is now the court of continuing jurisdiction. So if you're gonna need to change custody or change anything around, sir, you're gonna have something filed in this court to get it done. I'm willing to go ahead and do a temporary order and give you time to go out and talk to your lawyer, because like I said, in my opening statement this morning, in my opening speech, my oldest is now getting $350 an hour as a lawyer. So, and he's not even the top guy in his law firm. So yeah, he's the cheap guy. And so $350 an hour for 20 hours, you're looking at $7,000. So yeah. So the bottom line is, sir, I'll give you time to go out and talk to your own counsel, see how you want to handle it. But as far as as an order is concerned, based on what I got here in pleadings, I need to at least come away with a temporary order. And temporary order, it has to deal with child support based on the fact she has legal custody of both of these children, sir.
Okay.
I can deviate from that, from the fact based on the circumstances, but not by a lot, not terribly. So I'll let the state finish any questions they wish to ask at this time. And if you're going to hire a lawyer, sir, how long? And I'll ask you a quick question. How long do you think you need, sir, to go out and seek legal counsel or talk to legal counsel, sir?
As soon as I can save some money, sir. I mean, I will.
All right. Well, again, I'm looking at making a temporary order, but I need to get something wrapped up by the end of the year, sir. So I'm looking at doing a reset sometime in December, and that reset December will mean that you and I'm going to set a deadline for you and your lawyer. Let's see. This is okay. So if I'm looking at giving you at least 75 days, sir. So I'm looking at telling you if you're going to hire a lawyer, your lawyer I'm looking at doing this the first week in December, and your lawyer needs to file some type of written response the first Monday after Thanksgiving. So that way everybody knows what's coming. Okay. Otherwise, sir, I'm looking at going ahead and try to finalize this matter that first Tuesday docket in December of this year. So you think you can do this in 75 days, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Is there any legal aid that I can get or anything like that?
There is a legal aid office here in Belton that covers Coryell County, sir, but I don't know if they do family law anymore. They stopped doing it. They started doing it. I'm not sure. I worked for them as their family lawyer 30 years ago, 25 years ago, but that's been a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So, but if you can't get, if you can't get them as a legal representative, then it'll be up to you to try to retain someone.
Okay, so everything that was said before this that we agreed about my son and my child support, everything stays the same, or I don't know.
I'm looking at making a new child support order today, sir, and I'm gonna let the state make a closing statement to tell the court what the state's requesting me do here today, and I'm gonna let the mom and you make a closing statement. But I need to move on, sir, because it's 4:45 and I still have other cases to do.
Yes, sir.
So at this time, Mr. Diamond, any question of either party?
Yeah, may I ask Mr. Arias, it should be just one more question, Your Honor.
All right.
Mr. Arias, do you have other children?
No, sir, just not Lisa and Xavier.
Okay. Okay, I guess I had it written down that you had another child, so that's mistaken on my part.
Well, that she's not Leilani Milika. She's not my biological daughter, but I've been raising her since she was 2 years old. So I mean, I
And
consider her my daughter.
Does she live under your roof?
No, she doesn't. She's an adult now.
Okay. Then nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Diamond, what's the math again on all this?
So, Your Honor, I think that my math is slightly different than Miss Salinas' math. If the court is going guideline off of 2 children, and I calculate 821. If the court is going guideline off of 1 child, I calculate 657. And obviously, if the court is going something in between, then the court's doing something in between.
What's the current child support, sir? I didn't see that in the order.
My current,
It's strange, Your Honor. It's
Keep seeing 563 pop up here.
yeah, I don't have it on my system, Your Honor. Sorry, if the court would give me just a second to pull the order out of our virtual case file.
Okay.
they
don't know
take
why it's-
400. They take $407 out of every paycheck
And I'll
every
forget
2 weeks. Every 2 weeks.
Your Honor, I know why it's not, because this was a transfer case. And so I'm not using the Coriel. Let me get to the Coriel case. That'll have it. There we go. So, Your Honor, I'm showing that 563 is the previous amount.
Yeah, it looks like they were probably taking out extra to cover some of this unpaid child support amount. It looked like there's 24,000 and some change in that. So yeah. Okay. All right, here's what I'm looking at doing. The old amount was what, 563 you said?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what's the current amount with just 1 child? It was 6 what? 20% is
I
what?
should have written it down, Your Honor. I saved the 2 child amount. 657 is what I calculate, Your Honor.
All right, and the
two child amount.
child amount is what again? 8 what?
I have to pay.
821, Your Honor.
All right, here's what I'm looking at doing, folks. I'm looking at deviating from the 861 because of these weird circumstances, but I am looking at ordering a temporary child support instead of 861 at $700 a month. I'm looking at ordering a reducing the judgment, the unpaid child support. Looks like the interest alone on that's $120 a month. Is that correct, Mr. Diamond?
Well, yeah, it's pretty significant, Your Honor. I respectfully, Your Honor, if we're going to come back and he might be represented by counsel, or we might be going up to district court, if there's a fact issue on the possession, then it might be better to hold off on the retro until.
Okay, well, I'll hold off on it, but I'm the guy, so I'm not sending it up to the district judge. It's going to be me, and unless he's got the I don't think I can give him possession credit unless based on it's got to be a voluntary. And CPS yelling at somebody or saying you might want to do it this way, that doesn't make it voluntary. So, but I'll hear what the final hearing says, and I'll hold that out the final. But I'm looking at making a temporary order, a temporary child support at $700. What was the cash medical amount requested?
Oh, I don't know that we actually stated that on the record. 86 is what it should have been, Your Honor.
All right. Well, we'll do it 86 at this time. And we'll come back in December, and I'll make it. Let me look at my December dates. Go ahead and reset this matter for the December 12th. That way, give them, because that week of Thanksgiving throws everything off a little bit. So I'll give them time to do that. So I'm looking at 9:30 a.m. on December the 12th, and I'm going to make that Zoom code as soon as we get through with this hearing, or before I get out of here today, and you'll get a copy of that Zoom code for December the 12th. But here's the deal, sir. Talk to a lawyer. And your lawyer's got to get your ducks in a row, because I've got to do everything in accordance with the Texas family code and the Texas rules of civil procedure. And those are the circumstances. So, well, I think it's more important for dad to get a lawyer in here. And if his lawyer wants an ad litem, then I'll do that at that point. So, all right, folks, I'll see you in December. Sir, the ball's in your court now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Schwartz, again, you're the person that has the right to decide domicile. That's what the law says. That's what I'm going with, ma'am. The burden of proof now falls on him. Why, if he wants to change custody around, he has to present why I need to do it, and obviously he's going to need a lawyer to do that because this one's way too complicated for you to do as a layperson. So if he can get legal aid to do it or not, but the bottom line is it is what it is, and I'll take it up at final on December the 12th. On the general docket, and if there's lawyers involved, I could always set it for a special setting. So, ma'am, I'm going to start with you now, ma'am, because I've given him the opportunity. What are your questions, ma'am?
My questions are, am I waiting? There was money on hold. Is it coming out of hold now or in current child support? Am I getting it, or everything still stays on hold until December?
No, ma'am. I've ordered current child support at $700 a month starting the first day of October. And if there's money on hold, it's left up to the state, but they may hold it because I'm still got to deal with the $24,000 that is still owed you in unpaid child support. Because again, ma'am, under the law, without a written court order, that money is still owed you unless you voluntarily gave the child to him. And right now, I haven't heard anything that's going to meet that burden of proof. So it still sounds like he owes you the $24K. So they might still keep the money on hold, but for right now, the current child support is $700 a month. If there's any money, Mr. Diamond, if there's any money on hold or the current child support for September is being held, it needs to go out to mom. Okay. I'm not sure about what you need to do about that, but whatever the 563 for this month, if this is on hold, it needs to go out, and the 700 a month needs to go out next month.
Your Honor, I can pass that along to my financial department, but that's well above my pay grade.
They're administrators, and that's just the way they roll. But again, for sure, the regular child support the new child support amount starts the first day of October at 700, and the court finds that mom technically still is the legal person with the right to decide domicile of both these kids. Anything else, Mr. Diamond?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Schwartz, any other questions?
No, just the other part that's in there, that one's going to get held, right? The 13,000 that's in there, they're going to keep that hold. It's just the 500 that was supposed to be for September and then 700. Okay.
I don't know, ma'am, but again, they may keep it on hold until I finalize this matter in December. But that 700 has to start the first day of October. All right, Mr. Arias.
Okay,
Charles,
thank you so much.
Any other questions, sir?
I don't have no questions, man. I don't just worry about the kids' safety. I don't care about this money.
Okay. Well, again,
But
sir,
it's all good.
You need to talk to your own counsel and get what you need to do before the court. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're off. May the parties be excused, Mr. Diamond.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
We're off the record. You're both free to go. Thank you.